to another casual stream. StreamYard's down, it's not working at the moment, so I've had to go live directly through YouTube, which probably means that you're not gonna get the same level of interaction and stuff that I usually put out there. I don't know if anyone's even jumped in as of yet. I'm looking at the numbers. I don't like anyone watching at this moment. They might all be on the other video waiting to come over to this one. So I guess I just gotta kind of chill for a minute, and yeah, I'll kind of just. It looks like people are jumping in now. Yasmin Malik, big up to you. Thank you for joining, and apologies for the haphazardness of this. StreamYard's down, so I don't have any way to, you know, to do my normal routine. Big up to Philip, shout out to you as well. Yeah, you must have moved over from the other one as well. Manners and respect to anyone who has joined. I'm used to hearing the music though. I can't hear no music, which is obviously a bit of a, yeah, it's a bit of an issue, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, y'all, I'm here. It's your boy, as always. This has kind of messed up my flow a little bit because I wanted to have my, you know, my intro and say what's up to the people that already left comments, the people that was there patiently waiting, all that good stuff. But yeah, I guess we just got to kind of crack on at the minute. Now, a lot of stuff has happened today. For those, I want to let everyone know also, as soon as I finish this stream, probably going to run a bit shorter than normal, but as soon as I finish, I'm going to be recording 2 videos. One to put out tomorrow morning, roughly, and the other one, I'm going to do a members only video for obviously everyone that's done their subscriptions. And moving forward, there will be at least 1 members only video a week for anyone hardcore and above. And obviously the hardcore casuals tier, if you're there, you get your own personalized videos if you want those. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And what I might do, I might make the members only video just maybe a bit more of an extended look at one of the others, so it doesn't necessarily feel like, you know, it's 2 sets of different content, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's how we're gonna kind of do that one. Gonna be 2 videos straight after this, members only and the general public and everyone else. And hopefully if that tracks and people like that, then we'll do that moving forward. Like I said, at least 1 a week, but maybe even might be 2. But yeah, shout out to everyone who's in the building. I can't see all the people that are watching. I can only see when the people pop up with comments. So again, shout out to Yasmin Malik. Always appreciate you being in the chat, Yasmin. Philip Answer. I saw James as well pop up. I don't know who else is in the chat. Hopefully when the rest of those come up, I will see those as well. I think there's 10 people watching. From what I can see, there's maybe 1 like. We need to get that up. So get those likes up. Jonah 31, I see you. Reese Cooper as well in the building. Big up to yourself. Come on, we need at least 5 likes. If there's 10 people watching, at least half the people need to like the stream. There we go. I see those likes starting to move up nicely. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing. Super chats will cost you. This doesn't. And every little helps. Now we're on 4. That's what I like to see. More people are joining the stream as well. I like it. Thank you very much. So yeah, all right, look, let's talk about the hot topic here, the breaking news topic, which is that Matchroom have now announced the signing of Jaron Ennis to the camp, IBF 147-pound champion, who is now no longer a PBC or Now Promotions fighter, so will no longer be on that Prime or PBC on Prime platform. He will now be moving to the Zone, and it's going to be interesting when his first fight is going to take place. Now, if you remember when Regis Prograis signed to Matchroom last year, he had a fight within, I think it was 6 weeks from the date he signed. I don't know if they'll give Jaron a fight that quickly, but this should at least now bode well for him in the sense that he should get a fight by what month are we in now? We're in April now, so at least like the middle of June. I think they got a card that they was looking to do on the 15th of June. I'm pretty sure they could get him out in that time. If not, then maybe the first week of July, because I know the 22nd of June is supposed to be Tank Davis and Frank Martin. So yeah, it would make sense that you maybe put him in the first week, the first weekend of July. But maybe you could squeeze in the 15th of June. I mean, I'm going to assume he's been training. I'm going to assume he's been doing some work in the gym, so he shouldn't be too far off weight. And then it's just about, I guess, who you put him in the ring with. Do you give him a quote unquote a showcase fight with an opponent that he's just supposed to knock over to start the deal, and and just to raise his profile and get people talking and shouting about him? But that being said, he's had a bunch of those already. He's had a bunch of those type of opposition. So is that the right move or not? I'm not sure. Do you bring up one of your many 140 pounders to go and challenge him? Because Eddie Hearn has got a massive roster of 140 pounders, and not all of them are going to get the Subriel Matias bag or the Devin Haney bag. So do you maybe say, well, look, you've been a bit tight at the weight. Do you want to move up? Do you want to take a shot at the world title? Like, rather than waiting for them down here, you can step up. You don't have to cut as much weight. Would that be appealing to any of them? I'm not sure. Maybe. There's options there, or you can outsource an opponent. He hasn't got the hugest of 140 147 pound stable, so maybe you just outsource someone that you can put on a retainer to say, well, if you win, we get some rights to you, but this is just your opportunity to sort of come in and maybe upset the apple cart. For that comment, I think it was James saying, is he 140 or 147? Yeah, no, Boots Ennis is a 147 guy. And yeah, Yasmin Malik says, okay, Eddie's got a lot of 140 guys that can move up. Dodge 172, big up to you. I know Jumbo Brown, I saw you in the comments a little while ago as well. Salute to you as well. If you just jumped in, hit that like button. There's only 7 people that have liked, but there's 17 watching. I'm sure that's going to keep going up. Toby Bartlett, shout out to you. Just joined as well. Appreciate you. So yeah, Boots, I mean, what are we thinking? Is this just yet another sign that PBC are in the mud? Cuz D'Amato, shout out and salute to you. Salute. I mean, who they had Elvis Rodriguez. He jumped ship. I mean, Deontay Wilder managed to get out of the contract. Frank Sanchez got out of the contract. Who else? I mean, Adrian Broner's been out of it for a while, but no one really cares about him too tough. Who else is in that camp that's left? Michelle Rivera. He bounced out of the contract as well. It's funny because David Benavidez was there the other day basically saying that he can't talk to them guys because of his contract. If you guys heard that interview. So it pretty much tells you that they're locked down to some serious inactivity states right now. Nothing you can do. You just gotta ride it out, I suppose. I'm trying to think. Dodge says, base all that PBC fakery has come to an end. I mean, it's about to. It looks like but you know what? The best thing for the PBC is if they start running on a very limited roster, because if that happens, at least their guys will likely get out more. They'll be more active. But if you think about it, if they've only got, say what, let's say they've got 14 fight dates for the year, right? Well, we've got a quarter of that that's over now, but they had at least at one point about 60 fighters, I think. Those 60 fighters can't, you're not going to be able to get all of them on those dates, hence why people was only fighting once a month. I mean, it's not once a month, once a year. They wish they could fight once a month. They was fighting once a year, sometimes once every 2 years. Danny Garcia ain't fought since 2022. Luis Ortiz had to go to Colombia to get a fight the other day. I mean, Andy Ruiz ain't fought since 2022. you know, Deontay Wilder wasn't about to not fight for the entirety of 2023 until the Saudi check came in. Emma Willis, shout out to you. Thank you for joining as well. So it's like, yeah, you look at it and you say to yourself, well, what, you know, where are they? Where are they going? What what stars have they really got left? I mean, look, you got Tank over there, but he, you know, he don't even really say he's PBC. He what's he saying now? It's Tank Promotions or something along those lines, with Ellaby just kind of there in the background to run cleanup for him. I know, like Leonard Ellaby and what's his name, Steven Espinoza must be tearing their hair out. Well, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn's the reason that Leonard Ellaby's white went grey, that his beard went grey, because that guy had been stressed ever since Matchroom and the Zone came on the scene. And I just find it funny. Remember, let's talk about all of that. You know, it's the dead zone. It's the dead zone. Nobody don't buy that stuff. It's the dead zone. They don't care about that. Well, I mean, it looks like they do now, because all of the relevant people that can leave are leaving. They jump in ship. I always found it funny when they used to make those jokes back in the day, because I mean, it ain't really it's not really looking too rosy now. I Luke, and shout out to you as well. Salute. Let me see if I can get this. So I've got all the comments coming on the live chat. You see all comments visible. Yeah, there we go. James, the app is making their hair gray. Yes, 100%. Like Espinoza, I'm sure he's lost a parting in his head since the Zone came in and Showtime bounced out of the scene. It's been rather hilarious, but you know, I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is. Like this is what happens when you operate off of a failing model, don't want to correct it, but want to act big and bold, like say, you know, you are the guys. Obafemi Alabi, salute to you as well. Dodge 172 says, I've never known so many USA fighters with their own supposed promotional teams. They got jokes. 100%. Emma, Ellaby is jealous. What'd you say? Ellaby is jealous. He's talking about Tank right now. I Luke, and while going with this Chamberlain brother, talking all that smoke only to relinquish the belt. Yeah, I mean, look, we could talk about that, but the one thing, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna give Isaac a out, because I'm cool. I like Isaac. We're cool. We've done a couple interviews together. I like his hustle. Obviously, South London guy, so I will try and give him the benefit of the doubt. But you know me, I'll speak my mind. The one reason I'm not gonna like slam or slay Isaac on this particular issue is because he is moving on to a quote unquote bigger title. Like it may not be the same money, yeah, it might be lesser money, but for his career, you've got to think he needs to get as many accolades as he can now before before I guess his career comes to an end. I don't envision him ever becoming a world champion at cruiserweight. I just don't think he's big enough for that realistically, but he's a good enough operator to definitely be European level. So I don't mind him vacating the British to go after the European, because he was made mandatory. So it's not like, oh, he managed to get a voluntary shot or put himself in a position that he's you know, that he can kind of take, but he actually was the mandatory challenger. Now shout out to Emma. She says oh, let's get to that. She says Sislak is vacating though, so it may not work out for Isaac as planned. Now you know what, it may not, but if he vacates, then all that means is that Isaac fights. Imagine Isaac fighting Chef Clark for the vacant British and the vacant European. That might be a interesting scenario, because maybe Chef Clark gets mandated for that European title if Cieslak's going to vacate. I mean, he must be high enough in the ranking. He's faced enough European level opponents. So maybe Isaac won't be able to quote unquote duck that smoke. I mean, Vidal Riley isn't mandated for the British, so he doesn't have a right to that belt as of yet. But the mandate could also be Chef Clark mandated against Vidal Riley, seen as he is the English. All of that is possible, so I can kind of see that. The only issue I have with the whole Isaac Chamberlain thing is pulling out of the purse bid so late in the day. Like, you were mandatory for the EBU 2 months ago. You had your mandatory called 5 or 6 weeks ago for the British against Chev Clark. So when you're saying, oh well, Mick Hennessy went on Twitter X and told Eddie Hearn, oh well, this is nothing to do with Benn and Boxer. This was my decision. Well, obviously he's a Hennessy Sports promoted fighter, but he works in conjunction with Boxer. Let's not get it twisted. But he's saying, well, look, we was weighing up all the options, and this is the choice that we made in the end. But it's like, well, you already knew that you was going to go for the European. He's been wanting to move up to that European level from after he won the fight against Mikhail Lawal. He didn't want to. He wanted to be able to hold on to his British and go for the European at the same time, but he knew that the mandatory was going to get called for the British title. So you didn't have to withdraw from the purse bids today. You could have done it last week. You could have done it the week. You could have done it 2 weeks ago. You didn't even have to go. And the thing is, here's the joke. I'm gonna let you guys in on a. Well, I think I've told you lot already, because I tell the people on my channel like the secrets before they come out. Like, the plan, I don't think the plan was to the plan initially wasn't to vacate, because remember, on the the media workout for Clark, Wardley versus Clark, I was there and I heard Isaac was speaking with Andy Scott. They was right beside me, so they was talking, and he basically said, he asked them, well, look, do you want me to bring my belts? Like, do you want to do a face-off in the ring after the fight? And then Andy was like, well, from what I know, yeah, I think that's the plan, is for, if Vidal gets through this fight, for you two to face off, to announce a fight in the future, or to announce the next fight. And Isaac was like, look, all I want to know is, like, what's going on? Like, am I bringing my belts with me or not? Because I don't want to just carry the belts if nothing ain't happening. And at that point, I'm pretty much assuming that they felt they could find a way to maybe get an extension from the mandatory or whatnot. But when obviously Chev Clark came in to the sort of came into the press, into the little post-fight the post-fight interview, and from what I've heard, I think what I saw, I think it was someone who wasn't supposed to jump the barricades, which is why they ended up cutting the feed and all of the that the security get involved. But it was nothing to do necessarily with Chev Clark. But I think Chev was about to basically say, well, you can't be fighting him because the mandatory's now been called. Them purse bids is next week, and they was going to have that little round robin affair. So the plan wasn't actually to vacate the title. I think the plan was to try and do a workaround. But then when they realized that obviously now this is about to happen, and Chev ultimately is probably got higher backing from Matchroom than Isaac's gonna have from Boxer, because Hennessy Sports ain't gonna be able, like, Mick Hennessy, great guy, but he's not gonna be able to outbid Matchroom in the purse bid. Boxer potentially could, but you've got to remember, like, Isaac Chamberlain is not a Boxer fighter. The same way that Dillian White wasn't a Matchroom fighter, or like Fabio Wardley wasn't a Matchroom fighter in terms of being signed to a contract. So they're not going to go all out for a purse bid, which means that chances are you're going to have to play the away day. And maybe they felt that at that time it wouldn't be advisable to them, because the money, they probably could end up on lesser money than what they really wanted to defend that title against a tough British guy, when they probably reckon they can fight someone from the European circuit that maybe is a bit easier, a bit longer in the tooth, that you can get that, and then you get another accolade, and then possibly circle back around to the British scene afterwards, which is what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to win that European title, in his mind, win that European title, and then be defending that, but defend that against the against, I guess, the big names in Britain. So then you get the Vidal Riley fights, the Chev Clark fights, the maybe the Luau rematch or something. Maybe Tommy McCarthy comes back with an additional fight, or like you bring sort of someone like David Naika into it, or all of these other cruiserweights that are sort of in and around the scene, or maybe even you get someone like Isaac Anthony Yard eventually moving up from light heavyweight to cruiser to take to try and fight for a European title or something, because that's where the money is ultimately going to be. If you got that belt, you're going to have a bit more bargaining power, but you get to almost pick and choose your opponents a bit easier than if you got the British. You're always going to end up having a hard fight with that. SS14, shout out to you. Doesn't matter how late you are to the stream. Appreciate you for being here. Hot Pies as well. Shout out and salute to you. Let's read some more of these comments. Let's see, Emma says Boxer and Sky are definitely behind it. Isaac's next fight will be on Sky. No, 100%. Like I said, the Hennessy Sports have got the collaboration with Boxer, but they're definitely that bastard child. They're that stepchild that they're kind of, they play with them because they have to, but they don't really acknowledge them like that. That's exactly how they're moving. We'll read this. What was Toby Bartlett from earlier on? The haters were just thinking of in America, but the zone are global, baby. If you want to be seen worldwide, you need to be on the zone 100%. Yeah, I mean, if you want to hit up multiple markets at the same place, exactly. Londoner in the sticks. Shout out to you. Uncle Al and all his pagan disciples must be fuming. So much for that Amazon move being massive. The platform don't even promote the shows. 100%. And imagine, forget the platform. I thought we don't fight on an app. That's what I thought. We don't fight on an app. Reese Cooper, what's happened to Jordan Thompson since the Drive fight? Right, so yeah, so basically Jordan Thompson is moving up to heavyweight. I think he's recovering from a couple of injuries or whatnot, but he's not going to Bridges, he's going straight to heavyweight. So he's moving up there, and he is looking to come back, I think, around August. So I think around July, August will be his comeback. Obviously, he wants to walk around at the weight, start sparring at the weight, get used to the new weight that's on the frame, and take it from there. So he's not going to have they're not going to put him in against any killer in his first maybe 1 or 2 fights. But yeah, he'll be up at heavyweight in the next sort of in the next 3-4 months. He's already said, because remember, if you guys remember, Ben Shalom he basically sent it was almost like a stray shot towards Jordan Thompson last week on Talksport, where he basically was saying, well, look, he just got slung in and he'd never even fought at English level and whatnot. And then Jordan was like, whoa, Ben, I don't know who hurt you, but I wasn't slung in. I was given the opportunity of a lifetime, and everyone knew that win, lose or draw, I was moving up straight after that fight, because everyone knows how hard it was for me to make cruiser. But ultimately, I made a decision which was right for me and my life and my career, and it ultimately hasn't really affected me in that sense. So yeah, let's see. Obafemi Alabi, I agree. Yep. Emma Willis, right? Ben Boots versus Ben. Ben is still trending right now. Boots versus Ben is a stadium sellout already in the UK. Don't know if it's a stadium sellout. It's an arena sellout. It depends on what stadium, because remember, not everyone in the UK seen Boots yet. Not everyone really knows him like that. So I don't know if I would say he's a stadium sellout. Not for now. It's got to be 2 people that are big, or it would have to be an undisputed fight. Even if their opponent was no name, you say, oh, Conor Benn back from the wilderness goes for undisputed. You could sell that, but just a standard title shot, probably not. Philip Answer, seeing as Eddie and Oscar have a good relationship, now could we see a fight between Boots and Virgil Ortiz Jr.? No, because Virgil Ortiz Jr. is at 154 and Boots is still at 147. Now, don't get me wrong, by the end of his career, I guarantee you, Boots Ennis, unless it's cut short, he will end his career at super middle. 100% for that. Emma Willis, West Ham, Benn is massive here. I can't deny. I don't know if it's West Ham's. That's still 60,000 is a big stadium when you haven't got a well-known opponent. I'm not sure about that one, Emma. I hear you, but I'm not sure. That 419er man decided to have a short notice press conference in Morecambe of all places. Everything about that guy is questionable. Yeah, when I got the notice for that, I think it was on Saturday, and then I was looking, I'm like, Morecambe, but then I'm looking for it, and it's like, well, no one's gonna be there except him, Frank, and Spencer Brown and Dev Sani. I was like, well, why am I going up there for that? That don't really make no sense. Why are you having a press conference just for yourself? Anthony Hayweather, salute to you. Has anyone seen the Clarissa Shields diss track? I saw it about 2 hours ago. I posted it in the group chat, so I'm definitely talking about that in a minute. Don't worry. I've got some choice words for that one. I mean, what I will say, I thought the beat was kind of cool, but everything else about it was straight ass cheeks. And not the nice kind that she was clapping in the video either. I'm gonna be real with you on that one. It was, yeah, that was horrible. I can understand why Alicia was laughing. I'll name this account later. There can't be boxing at West Ham because of the running track, and fans will be too far from the ring. Yeah, Virtuoso, shout out to you, man. I'm doing all right. I'm pleased that you're here. Salute, salute. And yes, Anthony, obviously salute to you as well. 32 people watching at the moment, 18 likes. And I look, let's get those up. It's a nice ratio, but we can get it to 23. Like 23 likes. That will Guy Fawkes, salute, shout out to you. But yeah, let's finish on sort of the Benn and Boots topic. I mean, look, there is a possibility that that fight happens. It will have to happen in the States, because I don't see Conor getting to fight in the UK anytime soon. But it makes sense when you look at it now, and obviously this signing coincides with the fact that the NADP have, upheld the appeal from UCAD. But then when you say to yourself, okay, well, if Benn can't fight over here and this is his biggest market, he's not really of as much use to Matchroom moving forward. So if that's the case, you might as well use him to make Boots stronger in the States. It will be a fun fight. It will be a competitive fight. Up until it will be a competitive fight for maybe a round or two, but then the natural size difference of the two of them will start to show, and I'm pretty sure that is a fight that Boots wins via stoppage, via violent stoppage as well. But then it announces him on the world stage. His first fight with Matchroom, he beats the son of a legend. All of it, you can see the writing on the wall. It all kind of works. So I can see that being a possible scenario there. Outside of that, like I said, you just got to draft in a couple of ringers from outside the stable at 147, whether it's just for a showcase fight in the first fight of the deal, and then maybe the second fight ends up being a Benn fight or whatever. But yeah, if he can't fight in the UK, then his days are numbered. So you might as well cash him out, because even though we speak Spanish and English, I don't know how well the American audience really will take to him like that. They're very tribalistic over there, so who knows at this point. It's a bit of a tricky situation. Unfortunate. It is very unfortunate, but that is unfortunately what it is, and I guess we just got to wait and see. But yes, now let's talk about the Clarissa Shields diss track. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand. Doing stuff for, I'm not even going to say attention, but obviously you're answering a criticism. You're trying to offend a fellow critic, but it's like you're supposed to fight. Like, why? Like, what's a diss track gonna do in this scenario? Like, that's not gonna get her in the ring any quicker. Like, what do you want her to dish you back? Right? Is that how you want to make clout and sell tickets and for your next fight off of disses, and rather than actually like getting in the ring and scrapping it out? Now, let's be totally honest. We all saw the we all saw the altercation between the two of them. Like, compared to Alicia, Clarissa is massive. Now, if you here's the funny thing, if you look at it in terms of, all right, what's their natural attributes to each other? I'm gonna assume Alicia, she's definitely the quicker of the two. We can see that. She might be she's probably the more powerful of the two. She could, in theory, and this is, I'm not even capping, she could potentially be the stronger of the two. We have to remember, Alicia's got this wrestling background, and every single person, you know, with that Olympic wrestling and the wrestling background have very, very, very strong cores. You know, we've seen it from Bud. Like, Bud is insanely strong for his size. Alicia could be insanely strong for her size. The one thing I believe, there's probably two things that Clarissa may have over her, and that's natural boxing IQ, potentially. I'm not sure if she has, but she may have that. But she's definitely got work rate and energy and stamina, because Alicia, you know, she does gas out. She takes rounds off to recover. Once she throws one or two punches, it's if she don't get you out of there, then she's in problems for a little while. That being said, for her, if she moves up to 100, and if she was to move up to say 140, 150 pounds, well, now she doesn't have lean muscle anymore. It's going to be more bulky muscle, but more bulky muscle also means that there's more fat. More fat means higher energy stores and energy reserves for you to be able to, you know, to go through and manage. So if you get used to the weight and get used to competing at the weight, it's possible for you to get that second wind quicker. I know this because whenever I've been bigger, I've always had more energy to do certain things than when I was smaller. But in terms of just steady stamina, it's always better to be smaller. But in terms of like explosive energy, normally being bigger is better because there's more for your body to feed off of. Emma, I saw your comment. You said no way 130-pound girl is stronger than 160 pounds. Like, there's people that weigh half my, well, maybe not half my size, but maybe 30-40 pounds less than me that can push just as much as me in the gym. So you can be stronger than someone that's bigger than you. It all depends on genetics, and it depends on how you train. A lot of Alicia's training is definitely strength based. So while some of it might be like artificial strength in terms of like muscles, as opposed to just natural raw strength, she could in theory be stronger. She may be able to, if they was to have a grapple on the streets, she might be able to take Clarissa down and keep her there because of the wrestling background. So if that's the case, you know how to maneuver people, you know how to maneuver them. So it's one of those situations where I don't think she could outlast Clarissa, because Clarissa, I said, she's a very big girl. Ultimately, there's only so long you can push around the heavy weight. Like, sooner or later, you're gonna get tired. And obviously the girl who's not having to move as much weight isn't going to get as you know, as much as you. Shields was pushing Savannah back too. She can push. I'm not saying that she can't push her back, but she'd have to push her back behind punches. I'm saying if they get in a clinch, there's no guarantee that Alicia is not stronger physically than Clarissa. Clarissa's the bigger of the two, guaranteed, and eventually she'll wear her out. But I'm just saying there's no guarantee that she can't be stronger. Jack Knight, shout out to you, man. Salute. One of the channel members. Gotta respect you each and every time. So yeah, so Emma, I'm not discounting you. She could be like, she's definitely the bigger girl, which means that means that she can use her size to her advantage, and she's definitely got the stamina over Alicia. I'm just not 100% sure if we can say that she's the stronger. She's the bigger, but like I said, I've seen small people, smaller than myself, do things that I can't do. So, you know, that's just kind of how I look at it. But I understand your point. But yeah, so overall, to summarize that, the diss track, it was funny, but it's like you call her a clout chaser and then you make a music video. That's the definition of clout. So JC, big up. We say base. More Babe, Alicia, or Yo Costa. What do you mean? Like, who do I think is who do I think's better looking? Who would I rather date? I don't know. Ask the question again, JC. But yeah, yeah. Let me wait for him to respond to that, and then I'll answer that, and then we'll kind of move on to another nice little topic. If there's any questions you guys got in the chat, like let me know. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to record a couple videos tonight. One members only video. Oh, okay, JC, smash or pass. I'm gonna be respectful, JC, and not address those ladies in such manners. What I will say is, of the two of them, I find Alicia more appealing overall. I think she's prettier than Yokasta, but Yokasta is definitely has a charm and a certain appeal to her. But yeah, I would choose Alicia for out of those two in terms of a preference of myself and the type of woman I would look at. Let's see, Virtuoso. I felt like Savannah fought the wrong style, fighting on the inside when she could have been boxing Clarissa from the outside. Yeah, I mean, Virtuoso, she thought that being the bigger girl in there might also benefit her, but forgetting that if she can't get full extension on her punches, then that plays into Clarissa's hands. She has to be mid-range to long range. Like that inside never really worked for her. Jack Knight said base keeping it professional. You know, it's yeah, a little bit. I don't know who's watching the stream. I've still got some. I've got some. There's some plans that we're going to be working towards, and those type of things. I can't. You know, I'm not really going to be objectifying the women in that way. Not on my channel anyway. Maybe you ask me if I go on someone else's channel, it might be a bit different. Emma Willis, apparently someone not supporting Boots anymore because he crossed the street. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We know there's a certain mentality in the American markets, namely some of the LDBC type type channels, that if you're outside or if you're with the quote unquote ops, then you are up as well. Which is funny to me, because if it's about him no longer being with the PBC, well, who's getting the money on the PBC? They're giving all of their money to a Mexican. So if you're talking about the FBA community, well, the PBC, like Al Heyman, is doing his damnedest to give his biggest his biggest bags to a Mexican American. So he's not even standing on code for you. So why would you care if anyone else is? At least be happy that the quote unquote white man is giving the opportunities to the to the FBAs that your guy isn't. Your guy's keeping all of them shelved. Keeping basically just keeping them in storage until such time as you can maybe get them in a fight with one of his favorite Mexicans or Mexican Americans. So yeah, I don't really have time for them and any of their so-called opinions. It is half of them just bitter, and more so they're probably thinking, oh, he was their last vestige of hope that maybe could get to Terence Crawford, seeing as Errol Spence couldn't do it, but he wasn't going to get to there anyway. Luke, and Eddie Hearn is treating Ben Shalom the same way Frank Warren treated Eddie Hearn. Frank Warren was sending his son to talk to Eddie over business. Now Frank Smith is talking to Ben Shalom. Yeah. Jack Knight, did we already cover Isaac dropping his belts? I'll be rewatching this regardless. Yes, we did. We did discuss that, Jack. Very quick summary. Just basically, I understand him dropping the belt because he wanted to go for the European, but the timing of it sucks. Horrible timing, and I know that was probably wasn't necessarily a him issue, but he's gonna have to take the bullets on that. Emma, Boots fans never supported him when he was with PBC anyway. Very true. Again, if they did, he would have fought more, because they would have demanded to see him. He would have done bigger metrics, bigger numbers, and he probably would have ended up on pay-per-view by now. Because anyone they've got any type of interest in, they always put on pay-per-view. So I don't disagree with your take whatsoever. Let's see. Looks like that's the end of those messages now. Jack Knight. Boxer are not beating these charges. Oh yeah, 100%. Jack, but what I will say, Boxer definitely had a hand in this. I'm not gonna lie, but it is a Hennessy Sports decision because Isaac Chamberlain's not with Boxer. He is with Hennessy Sports. They do have a co-promotional deal with Boxer at the minute to, you know, obviously have their fighters on the shows and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure that Boxer said we'd rather have Isaac fight Sislak or Vidal Riley on our platform. And seeing as Isaac didn't really want to fight Vidal Riley, Sislak made more sense. But they probably thought if we go to purse bid against Chev Clark, there's a chance he could lose to a fighter that's not with us, that we can't do any business with afterwards. But because it's Hennessy Sports and not Boxer, they're probably not going to be as invested in the purse bid, which means that they definitely wouldn't win that. So yeah. Philip Answer, what's he saying? It's funny Spencer Brown at the press conference says something like Usyk is underestimating Fury, when Usyk is actually the one who's in camp training very hard and Fury's doing a pointless presser. Yeah, I mean, if there's one person that's not underestimating Tyson Fury, it's Alexander Usyk. But the thing is, even if he wanted to underestimate him now, he's studied him for long. He said it himself. Even when he was at cruiserweight, after he left the Olympics, he was looking at the heavyweight scene, and he said that he's been studying both Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury since 2017. So he's been watching and watching them and their movements for the longest of times. He's ready for that's why it was so easy for him to nullify AJ. It wasn't just his natural abilities. He knows his strengths and his weaknesses. He's been watching him. So I'm going to assume that he's been doing the same thing with Fury, and he was probably doing the same thing with Wilder. He probably looked at those three and said, these are going to be the three guys at the top of the division. Let me see what they do and what they can do and what they can't do. I'm very, very confident that Alexander Usyk is prepared for Tyson Fury, prepared for any and all situations that he can present to him in the ring. Virtuoso. Boots made the right choice by signing with Matchroom. The business of boxing cannot wait for PBC to get its resources together to stage fights. 100%. Emma Willis. Fury may be overdoing it. He's way too slim. His punch resistance is bad as it is. Well, you know, it may not necessarily be his punch resistance. I think it's more of his balance. I think it's easier for him to hold the shot when he's a bit bigger. Because do you know what? You can absorb the shot, but because he's big top heavy, which means that he's got the muffin top, so the legs can't really support the weight. So maybe him being lighter puts him more into proportion, and his body mechanics might work a little better. But yeah, his resistance, I feel like, is okay. It's just the fact that because he's got good powers of recovery, he's got poor balance and poor body distribution. So whenever the shots land, he doesn't have the necessary foundation to absorb the shock of the punch through his whole body. Hence why he's always kind of getting rolled over. Yeah, that's how I'd kind of look at it, quite frankly. I saw a couple. What did James? Yeah, James, I'll talk to you about that in a sec. One moment. Jack Knight, Usyk missed the birth of his child for this fight. This is so personal for him. Don't be fooled by Usyk's professional and quiet nature. 100%. Like, imagine you go through that, you stay away from your pregnant wife, and you have to miss your child's birth, only to then find out that the guy is, pulls out or postpones the fight due to injury. If he didn't have any, extra motivation before, he sure does now. And that's just going to make sure that he hones in on any and every problem. And I've said that I don't even need to do a basis picks video for this. Everyone knows my opinion. There's nothing I've seen from Tyson Fury that either tells me that, to be honest, he's a quote unquote a special fighter. I don't think he's special. I just think he is good at using his size to his advantage, especially against undersized guys or against plodders. But with that also being said, he's definitely lost a step. Usyk may have lost a step as well, but Usyk was already 2 steps ahead of him. So imagine Fury being in there with someone that moves better, thinks just as quick, and has the same type of ring IQ as him, and hits hard enough to get your respect. He's gonna have a torrid time. And I've predicted Alexander Usyk to beat Tyson Fury. My basis picks for that. I could do 2 videos on it, right? I could do a video breaking down the undercard. I could do a video just for that, and the video will literally be less than a minute. 100%, because everyone knows my pick is Usyk to win, and I truly believe he stops him. I think he knocks him out. I don't have a doubt in my mind. He win there, and I think he has to knock him out, because I don't think he's going to get fair reflection on the scorecards. You know, I mean, we heard, His Excellency's Turkey Al Sheikh on the phone earlier. He said, "Oh, I must be fair to to Usyk, but I want you here. You're my guy. I want you here for 5, 7, 10 more fights." It's the same as what he said to Anthony Joshua with when he was talking Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, and he says, "Francis, I love you, but Anthony, I root him for you to, you have to knock him out for boxing." So His Excellency has his favorites, and Tyson Fury is his favorite. So if Usyk doesn't go in there with the mentality that I either need to stop him or I need to drop him on numerous occasions to make it so obvious that you can't cheat me, then the chances are he could end up losing on points, even though everyone thinks that he won the fight anyway. It could be one of those situations, and I'm assuming he's gonna want to take it out of the judge's hands, personally. So yeah, and I think that the aim for him to win that fight is ultimately, you gotta invest to Fury's body a bit. You gotta keep him working. You gotta keep him, if he wants to be on the back foot, you gotta be right in front of him the whole time, making his hands have to move. Because a lot of people don't even realize when Fury had to face Tyson, when Tyson Fury had to face Deontay Wilder in the second fight, even though he dominated that fight from round 1 to round 7 when it ended, if you see Tyson Fury after round 3, look at, if anyone wants to watch that fight back, look at him in the corner and look at him when he gets out for round 4, round 5, round 6. He's blowing heavy, like he's breathing hard, a lot harder than he normally does, because he's working harder. So if Usyk keeps him in there and keeps him working, even in those early rounds, even if he ends up losing some of those, like he can wear him out and tire him out to the point that when then he's going to be a lot more open for those shots. And also, I saw Usyk on the speed bag the other day. I saw the way he was hitting the bag. He was hitting the bag specifically to the side. Now, when you look at, obviously, you got straight punches, you got uppercuts, you got looping punches, but he was hitting it very specific in a certain point in each of the. If you look at the video, you'll see it. And the way that the shot is coming, right? So his left hand's coming from behind. Where was it landing? If you look at how it was landing on the bag, it was landing there. He's gonna target the scar tissue. And now supposedly Fury's got scar tissue on both sides. So he's gonna pop the right side, and then when Fury tries to lean this way, it'll probably bring in the heavy hand right here to try and bust up and open up the eye again. 100%. The target's going to be the eye, and the target's going to be the energy reserves, because everyone says that Tyson Fury is a he's fighting fit, he's a super fit guy. Like, he's not as fit as people think. That's why he ends up leaning on people halfway through the fight, so he doesn't have to move. He does it all the time. That's one of his tactics to get breath, but Usyk's not going to allow him to do that. So yeah. Now, I haven't ignored the chat. I'm going to go through the chat now. And we're definitely going to talk about Bawatsi and Yard. We're going to do that, and that's also going to be in one of the videos that we address tomorrow. Base, did you see Jim Lampley's senile take on Benavidez becoming a heavyweight contender and having punch power rivaling Lewis and Tyson? I can't take mainstream US media seriously on boxing due to BS like this. Yeah, I saw that. That was I don't know where Jim came. I think he must have got paid to say that, to be totally honest. And I like Jim Lampley. He's been one of the legends of the game, but that was like one of the worst takes I've ever heard. I would believe that Zurdo Ramirez will go up and do more at heavyweight than David Benavidez, because at least he's got fundamental skills. You remember we saw David Benavidez taking classes from uh who was it that he was what's his name? Rigondeaux. Guillermo Rigondeaux was trying to teach him footwork, and you saw how David was moving with that with them footwork drills. He ain't doing nothing up at heavyweight. Anthony Hayweather Yard just made an announcement. Apparently his promotional deal has ended. Okay. I mean, that might be a video. That might be a video to talk about as well. Luke, what's your take on Vladimir Klitschko giving Usyk advice? He hasn't given him he hasn't forgiven Luke for not giving him his 100%. He wanted that rematch. I think everyone believes that Klitschko was going to win that rematch, because we all remember how the fight was ending. Rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12, the veil was starting to slip, and he was definitely coming more into the fight, Vladimir Klitschko. So I definitely agree that he would have had more, that he definitely would have had a better chance, and he would have taken the rematch a lot more seriously. Hence why I think that's why Fury did everything he could to not take that, regardless of what other people say. Just seen it. Boxer definitely making the fight now. Yeah. What's going on with Boots versus Crowley? Right. So, that's not going to happen. Hence why Boots is now signed with Matchroom. Cody Crowley is actually is going to be fighting a WBC final eliminator with Suleiman Sissoko, who's from 258, one of Anthony Joshua's fighters. So he's going to be going the WBC route now instead. And you have to remember that WBC belt is about to become vacant fairly soon. So yeah, is what it is. JC, why did everyone crown Fury after beating Wilder? Wilder was a one-trick pony bomb. Well, it's the powers of the media. If it's the, remember, heavyweight is usually an American topic, right? It's an American great time. So you have to raise the charge of the one heavyweight that they had. So they lauded him and made him bigger than what he actually was, and it backfired spectacularly. But the people understand it now. Shout out to Yams, big up. Usyk is gonna make Fury look like baby food. Remember, I said it. If the fight happens, Yams, you're speaking my language, my G. Speaking my language. Virtuoso. I never crowned Fury other than an opportunistic one belt title holder. Yep, give you that. Boxer will pay him big if he's a free agent like Wardley. Okay, so we're talking about Anthony Yard. Yeah, I might have to. I'm gonna have to do some research. That might have to be a video for tomorrow still, or might have to be a segment. Luke, and if AJ fought the same opponents Luke fought in the same sequence, he'd probably be undefeated. Yeah, I reckon so. Jack Knight. I think about all the years Fury was dossing about down the pub, not training and being a mess all that time. Usyk is grinding. You can't make that time back, 100%. And if you think about it, even though both of them were beating their bodies up, one was doing it for the betterment of their body, and the other one was doing it for the, for the detriment. So they're both gonna have sort of, I guess, injuries and problems because of it, but one of them at least is going to be in fighting shape compared to the other. So yeah, totally agree with you there. Fury talks waffle. We've been knowing this. He's still a foreigner in a westernized world. The heavyweight champ should be from the West. Yeah, I remember that, Jack. Anthony Hayweather, but then again, Emma, if Yard goes to boxer, he gives up the Saudi bag. It's true. Although he doesn't want that Saudi bag right now because Craig Richards is holding the keys to it, and he don't want that smoke. That's my take on it anyway. Let's see. Istab Grub, big ups to you. Ivan. What did he say? Fury is still fat today at the presser. He looks soft. Emma Willis, he should do a one-fight deal or maybe a rematch to a boxer so he can get the Saudi bag after. I mean, the best thing for Anthony Yarde to do, if he believes in himself, if his deal with Frank Warren has actually ended now, do the free agent thing. Although that means you have to win. And if you are a free agent, there's no more tune-ups. There's no more like easy touches. Like you're gonna have to go into hard fights. Like Fabio Wardley and Dillian White were free agents and they had to take hard-ish fights every fight. There was no gimmies, there was no, no warm-ups, there was no soft touches en route to a big fight. Every fight was a big fight. So if you believe in yourself, that's the route you gotta go. That's kind of how I see it. Let's see. Jack Knights, don't forget about James's comment. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see if I don't want to miss any comments here. Scrolling up. Oh, here we go. James from sorry about that, James. What's happening with Yarde, JB? I saw a video of Yarde's promotional contract with Warren has expired and the team is currently negotiations before making the right. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we was talking about from before. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's I think, to be honest though, if he leaves Queensbury, he's gonna be I think he's gonna be in trouble no matter where he goes now, because yeah, the day of the soft touch, the day of the tune-up fight, the only person that will give you those fights is Frank Warren. Like Ben Shalom doesn't have the roster or the power to give you those kind of fights. And Eddie Hearn has already said this is, it's big fights only. It's competitive fights only. You don't get a guy just off of the streets of Bulgaria, that come in on 3 days notice with no training camp. You don't get one of the Polish migrants that come over, saying he'll work, he'll do anything for work and ends up in a boxing ring. You don't get those. You don't get the guy that's taking out the bins every Tuesday and Wednesday on the back of the truck. Like there's no more of those, or the guy that's cleaning the windows for £2 a day. Like there's no more of them guys left. So I mean, it's gonna be a bit of a problem. Anthony Hayriver, Yarde, there's a lot to think about, and don't let Trav hear you say that. I was okay. Travis don't watch this channel. I could talk as much smack as I like. He'll never know unless someone screenshots and records it. But you know what? It's all good because I stand on what I say. Lucan, you really love I think he means winding up Mr. Ajayi with the Yarde talk. I mean, hey, you don't like it, give me a reason to shut up in it. However you make it happen, whether that's by in the ring winning fights that I want to see you win, or if you see, well, to be honest, you can't see me in person and make me shut up. It doesn't happen. Like I can't get checked like that because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. That's not to say that nothing can't happen to me out on road. It can happen to anyone, but that's not gonna stop me from talking. So yeah, end of the day, it is what it is. James, he can't fight soft touches anymore. Leaving Frank is a big mistake. Tundi is hyping him up too much. 100%. See a couple people laughing. Jam down. Shout out to you, man. Big up. Much respect for tuning in. And you know what I'm loving right now? There's more likes on the video than people watching currently. That's a beautiful thing to see. So people came in, hit the like button, bounced, but that means that the engagement was there. I love it. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna go for a couple more minutes and I'm gonna call it a day because I started late because of StreamYards. So yeah, I'm doing this one directly through YouTube, which means that, no productions, no music, no intro, no outro, no nothing. Apologies. Jack Knight, what do you think about David Benavidez versus UK light heavyweight convo? What happened on the Undefeated pod? Yeah, I was listening to it. I said that I reckon Yarde, Buatsi, and Craig Richards, I reckon, will all be too much for him because they've all got good boxing fundamentals. You're not just gonna outwork them, and you don't hit hard enough. Well, you don't hit hard enough to hurt Craig Richards. you might, if you move the hands, maybe you might give off the opinion that you're outworking him in terms of punches landed. But I know that he could take a punch and he can deliver one back. But his movement in the ring, I think, will give him all kinds of problems. I think that Yard hits harder than him, and Yard's got a style that he's not gonna be able to get to grips with unless he can outlast the first few rounds. Because if Yard burns up nervous energy, then you kind of get him down the stretch. For someone like Benavidez, I think Bawatsi will be able to keep him at bay and keep him at the end, either at the end of the jab, or he'll be able to work at his pace, because Dave is not just going to walk forward on him, because Bawatsi's a big puncher. One thing, if you look at David Benavidez's career, he ain't been in the ring with no big punches yet, or no big punches at his weight class anyway. They might have been a big puncher at the weight class below, or the 2 weight classes below that, but his own individual weight class, nah. So if he goes up there, again, we got the Vosdik thing. We know Vosdik is a puncher. That's one thing we know about Vosdik. We know Craig Richards is a puncher. We know that Joshua Boatsi is a puncher. We know that Yard can hit hard. I don't know how much of a puncher he is, because, again, against who? I have to put it in perspective of who you're fighting. But we know that he's got the skills anyway. I think, a very fun fight would be Benavidez against Dan Aziz. I think that would be because there's not gonna be a huge skilled chess match. That's just gonna be like, okay, middle of the ring, let's see who can outlast who can stand to the pace. I think that would be stylistically, that would probably be the most fun fight out of all of them. And I even think, I think Callum Smith handles him quite comfortably. Because if he's got nothing else, he's got the power to hurt Benavidez, which is going to stop his work rate. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the UK guys. Jam down. Clarissa diss track bumping in the gym. Oh gosh, I beg you, don't ever change. Please don't ever change. Guy Fawkes fully rate that. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. I swear you and Tunde are from the same ends. Well, we're from South. I'm from Brockley, Crofton Park sides. He's from Peckham. I don't know if he still lives there. But yeah, there's 3 parts of Brockley. You got Crofton Park, you got like Brockley South, and you got Turnham. I'm on the Crofton Park side, which is the nicer bit of Brockley, but let's be honest. You can have a nice house in a hellhole. You're still in a hellhole, innit? Like, the ends of the ends. It's that simple. I maybe live on a street that doesn't have as much of the so-called crime rate as the others, but I walk 2 minutes from my yard, 5 minutes from my yard, and I'm in the same gutters as other people, and it is what it is. So I know it well. But yeah, we're from those same sides, so it's never really hard to find me, to be totally honest. More than anything, you want to find me, just go to a press conference. A press conference with a bunch of young, excellent black men like myself on the bill. More than likely you'll see me there, especially if it's in London. It's the easiest way to find me. James, what do you think Richardson Hitchens after weekend fight? I'm not sure. I have to see his next fight. I think he has too many voices in his corner. Did you notice that? Yes, I did. With Richardson, thing is, Richardson's a very good fighter, but the problem is he's got 2 problems. Number one, obviously, I don't know if he's as good as he projects himself to be, but more so, he's a guy that needs time to work. He's a bit like Devin Haney, but the difference is Devin Haney has learned how to basically be able to nullify those kind of, those sweeping pressure guys, because none of them are normally on the same level of him as a boxer. So he finds, and they're always a lot shorter, and he knows how to keep the range a lot better. Hitchens hasn't quite mastered that because he hasn't really fought in a lot of pressure fighters as of yet. He's got an amazing jab. He's got one of the best jabs out there in those lower weight classes. His problem is that he just hasn't kind of learned how to transition the jab into a powerful shot behind it that the person doesn't see, that wants to deter them from coming forward. because there's several rounds in the fight. If you look at the fight with Lemos, that he was hurting Lemos to the body. Like when he was stabbing to the body, he was really hurting him. If he had gotten a bit more on the front foot and put that, put the right hand behind that stab to the body, even if he's punching down to the body or hitting up top or around the guard, he could have been on the front foot a lot more than Lemos. If he pushed Lemos back and made him have to work off the back foot a bit more, like he was doing in sort of round 4, 5, and round 9, especially, like he could have had a lot more success. And I truly believe in round 9, I think it was round 9, he really hurt Lemos, but didn't step on the gas. And that's one of his problems, is that he just doesn't go for the kill. If he's got you hurt, he's happy to sort of be risk averse, which is, I guess it's good for your career longevity, but it just gives people an opportunity to get back into a fight they don't have a chance to be in a fight for. Jonah 31, Lyndon is food for David. To be honest, I don't even know if Lyndon's food for him. I mean, I know we all kind of shit on Lyndon Arthur a little bit, but he's not a bad fighter. The only thing is he just doesn't do anything remarkable. But if he decides to just get on the stick and just put something heavy behind it, he could probably do some damage. And he's had some decent wins. Like he's fought some decent guys. So he's not, he's not a bum. He's not terrible. It's just that we have such a low opinion of him recently because he just he hasn't done certain things that he was doing earlier on in his career. And maybe that just means that, sometimes you get that peak. Maybe he's hit his peak and now he's on his way down. Maybe making the 175 limit is not for him, but he's too small to be a cruiser. Some people just like that. So it's a bit problematic. Philip Answer, you got to respect Eddie Hearn's hustle. He'll be beefing with Ben Shalom, making fights, signing fighters, spinning narratives, doing community work in local gyms, running miles, and running Matchroom. Yeah, I don't know when that guy sleeps. I think the only time Eddie Hearn sleeps is on the plane when there's no Wi-Fi to his phone. I literally think that he might sleep 1 or 2 hours a night, and then he's just on well, I'm not gonna say substances, but not on the energy drinks or hydration drinks or whatever. Because I don't know when he sleeps. There's way too much for him to. Although to be fair, he does delegate a lot of his duties to Frank Smith and some of the other members of the Matchroom team. So he's the front man, but he's not in all of the meetings, in all of the boardrooms like he used to be. So maybe that's where he's getting it from. Jambo Brown, Benavidez versus Vosdick. I think Benavidez gets found out. I agree with you. Jack Knight, I said this on Monday. David needs to stop waiting around for Canelo and start building his light heavyweight legacy. Bored of waiting for fights that might not happen. Yep. Jack, I'm still hurt from AJ Wilder, etc. I mean, I hear you. Careful, he has lions in the camp. Anthony, Raw, is Tunde on to base? Am I missing something? Oh, so Anthony, right. Go to my channel. After I close off this live, yeah, you'll see my channel. Go on to, there's a video. I think it's episode, the guys in the chat can help me out. It might be episode 207. It's called Energy Matched or something along those lines. It will show you where the issues between myself and Tunde stemmed from. I think Jack Knight's, Tunde called me out on one of the Stamina for Sale videos, just out of the blue, to be totally honest. So yeah, watch that video. Hold on, what I'm actually gonna do, let me get the guys, bear with me one moment. I'm gonna go to my channel, I'm gonna get the link for that video, and I'm gonna put it in the chat for Anthony so that he can save that. I'll watch it for later on. See, what episode was it? Yeah, episode 208. So I was one off, right? So share this video. Copy to the clipboard. And then go on to the YouTube page itself. So guys, bear with me. Okay. All right. Hey, whoever, we got it in here. All right. Just clipboard. Yeah, that's the video there. Episode 208. So yeah, there's the link for you. So you guys, so you feel free to watch that, get some more views on it. It's one of the highest rated videos on the channel at present. I think there's about 2 point, might be 2.2, 2.3K views on it at the minute. I've had some with obviously higher views, but that one had a crazy engagement for the first week and a half that it was up. It did good numbers. Did good numbers. Yes, Anthony, for speaking the truth. That's exactly. Some brothers can't handle criticism. 100% Fury complex. I'm positive that Queensbury encouraged their stable to behave dishonorably. That's why I liken them to Slytherin or from Harry Potter. A boxer is still Hufflepuff though. All right, Chris Collymore, shout out to you. What's your thoughts on Boots joining Matchroom? Yeah, go back to the watch the stream when I'm done. But ultimately, it's a good move, at least for activity purposes, if nothing else. Right. So, guys, not good enough for my boy, childish guy, man. This Benavidez fiasco is just the complete repetition of what they did with Wilder, building on not fighting the actual name in the division. Man said Yard is head and shoulders above British light heavies after he's only fought one and lost the first one. Yeah, right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know it's a bit different, but I appreciate you for all being there. I've enjoyed the engagement. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't. I promise you there are 2 videos out tomorrow. Like I said, there's one for everyone, and there's going to be a members only video. So it will be hardcores and up. But if I feel generous in the morning, I'm gonna put it to the casuals as well. Just anyone that's a member can watch that. And then what I will do is I will leave that members only until next week, Tuesday, and then I'll just open it out to everyone. I don't even care about the views on it because obviously the members deserve that. They support the channel. They pay a membership to be a part of the channel, to get special perks. So perks have to get. It's that simple. But yeah, appreciate you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will catch you all tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments and any other good stuff. Yeah, look out for basis picks on Friday as well. Might do a stream on Saturday for the Gill and Barrett fight. If you guys are possibly interested in that, we'll see. Karma Serene, big ups to you. Thank you very much for the 199. Obviously, you know it's always love with you. Appreciate it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, signing out. Peace.